तद्विवेकाद्विविक्तास्युः कोशाः प्राणमनोधियः ते हि तत्र गुणावस्था भेदमात्रात् पृथक्कृताः सुषुप्त्यभाने भानन्तु समाधावात्मनोऽन्वयः व्यतिरेकस्त्वात्मभाने सुषुप्त्यनवभासनम् यथा मुञ्जादिषि कैवम् आत्मा युक्त्या समुद्धृतः शरीरत्रितयाद्धीरैः परं ब्रह्मैव जायते जीव ब्रह्म ऐक्य जीवात्म परमात्म ऐक्य is justified with the help of logics, with the help of yukti. The logic is not an independent means to arrive at Jiva Brahma Aikya. A student of Vedanta should be very clear about this. Can I keep the Shruti aside? Can I keep the Vedanta Pramana aside and arrive at Jiva Brahma Aikya purely with the help of reasoning? The Upanishad says it is never possible. नैषा तर्केण मतिरापनेया एषा मतिः तर्केण न आपनेया. One cannot get the Atma Jnana with the help of logics, because logic is not the pramana. What is the pramana? Shruti is the pramana. Vedanta Vakya is the pramana. There is no other pramana. यथा रूपदर्शने चक्षुः प्रमाणम्. Just as the eyes are pramana, if I have to know color of a cloth, what is the pramana? Eyes are the only pramana. If I say, I will not open my eyes because I am very intelligent, I am high IQ, I have too much of IQ, so I will not open my eyes. I will use my intelligence, I will use my reasoning power to know the color without opening the eyes. Is it possible? It is not possible. Because to know the color, you have to use your eyes and eyes only. You cannot even use any other indriya. You cannot use even other senses. So, chakshurindriya is the pramana for color. In the same manner, if you want to know Brahman, if you want to know Jiva Brahma Aikya, there is only one pramana, Shruti pramana. Vedanta Vakya is pramana. We have to rely on the Vedanta Vakya. If the Vedanta Vakya has to work, the student should have Shraddha. The student should have trust in the Vedanta Pramana, in the Vedanta Vakya. Therefore, in chapter 4 of Gita, Bhagavan says, Shraddhavan labhate jnanam. One who has Shraddha, he gets a jnana. Shraddha plays a very important role. One should have trust in Vedanta Vakya. The Vedanta is a valid means of knowledge. Therefore, I should try to understand the meaning of Vedanta, the vision revealed by the Vedanta. This attitude is called Shraddha. The Vedanta is a valid means of knowledge. Therefore, I should try to understand what the Vedanta is trying to reveal. Only then you can pursue the jnana. If there is no Shraddha, what do the people do? They will just ignore Vedanta. Why should I bother to understand Vedanta? In fact, Many spiritual seekers do not have Shraddha in Vedanta Shastra. That is why they will try to find some other way, for moksha. Somebody says, I will meditate and get moksha. I will just keep asking, who am I? Close my eyes and keep asking, who am I? And I will get moksha. It is not going to lead anywhere, because the only way to moksha is Atmajnana, self-knowledge. And the only way to self-knowledge is Vedanta Pramana. Without Vedanta Pramana, without Vedanta Vakya, it is not possible to get self-knowledge. The Upanishads are clear about this. Na vedavin manute tam brahantam tanto upanishadam purusham prachami sarvam brahmaupanishadam. Brahman is called Upanishadam because it is revealed by Upanishads. Upanishad is the Pramana. That is why we have to make effort to try to understand the Mahavakya. What really the Mahavakya signifies. If you look into any Vedanta text, there is a lot of effort put forward to make sense out of the Mahavakya. What is Tatpada? What is Tvampada? How the Tatpada gives its meaning? How the Tvampada unfolds its meaning? Lot of analysis goes into this. A lot of effort goes into how to understand the Mahavakya. Does that mean we should not use reasoning at all? Should we keep all the reasoning away? It is not so. Vedanta entertains reasoning. Vedanta encourages reasoning. That is why even in the Upanishads, you will find logics. Many logics are presented in the Upanishad itself. If you look into Chandogya Upanishad, chapter 6, so many logics are put forward. If you look into Taittiriya Upanishad, Brahmanandavalli, so many logics are put forward. Therefore, the Upanishad encourages us to use the reasoning. What is the role of reasoning in Vedanta? What is the role of logics in Vedanta? We should understand the role of logics clearly. The logics will not help you in arriving at Jiva Brahma Aikya. To arrive at Jiva Brahma Aikya, you have to use Shruti Pramana. But the logics are useful in understanding the logical possibility. In the Vedantic terminology, it is called Sambhavana. What is Sambhavana? Understanding the logical tenability. If logics are not used, when we just hear you are Brahman, we think it is logically not possible. It is logically impossible. How can I be Brahman? It seems to be logically impossible. Therefore, when we first hear you are Brahman, Tattvamasi, we think it is logically untenable. We suspect its logical tenability. We suspect the logical tenability of Vedanta. This problem is called asambhavana. You are suspecting the logical tenability of Vedanta. It is called asambhavana. The suspecting the logical tenability of Vedanta is called asambhavana. In order to remove the asambhavana, in order to solve the problem of asambhavana, we make use of logics. It is the only role of logics. That is why you find so many logics are presented, even here in Pancadasi. Pancadasi began with logics, logical discussion. How Atma is Satchidananda. Logically arrived at, logically understood. And then how Atma is different from the five koshas. Even to understand this, we made use of yukti. So, with the help of logics, we arrived at the possibility, the logical tenability of Jiva Brahma Aikya. But the logic shows only the possibility. Yes, it is possible. It is not conclusive. How do you arrive at the conclusion? The conclusion is arrived at by Shruti alone. That is why Vidyaranya is now reminding the Mahavakya, the Shruti Vakya, which reveals the Jiva Brahma Aikya. Shloka 43. Paraparatmanorevam yuktya sambhavitaikata tattvamasyaadivakyai sa bhagatyagena lakshyate. एवं परापरात्मनोः ऐक्यम युक्त्या संभाविता. So far, right from the beginning. Beginning means shloka 3. Shabdasparshadayo vedya vaichitrya jagare prithak onwards. Yuktya, with the yukti, with the logics, with the reasoning. Paraparatmanoh ekatvam, the oneness between Paramatma and Apara-atma. Apara-atma means Jiva-atma. Jiva and Paramatma, Brahman. Between these two, between Jiva and Brahman, Ekatvam, Aikyam, Ekata, their oneness, their non-difference. Yuktya sambhavita. It is supported by the logics. Its possibility is shown by the logics. If you reason properly, you understand it is logically possible. It is not illogical. But who reveals it? What is the pramana? What is conclusive? We need Mahavakya of the Vedanta. Therefore, Tattvamasyadivakyaihi, with the Vakyas, statements, like Tattvamasi, Tattvamasi Adi. There are many Mahavakyas in the Shruti, in the Vedas. Tattvamasi is not the only Mahavakya. That is why Tattvamasi Adi. How many Mahavakyas are there? 1, 4. Many. How many are there? Many are there. Yeah, not 4, There are many Mahavakyas. Because instead of saying how many are there, you should say what is Mahavakya. What is Mahavakya? Yeah. Any statement which reveals the non-difference between Jiva and Ishvara is Mahavakya. Jiva Ishvara Aikya Bodhakam Vakyam Mahavakyam. Any other statement which talks only about Jiva, or if it talks only about Brahman, then it is not Mahavakya. It is called Avantaravakya. The Avantaravakya is subservient to Mahavakya. The purport of Vedanta is in Mahavakya. The central vision of Vedanta is revealed by Mahavakya. Any other statement which is helpful in understanding Mahavakya is called Avantaravakya. There are many such statements, like the statements that explain Brahman. What is Brahman? What is Ishvara? What is Brahman? Such statements are Avantaravakya. Or the statements that describe the nature of an individual. They are also called Avantaravakya. But if the statement equates Jiva with the Ishvara, then it is called Mahavakya. Mahavakya is an equation. Equation between Jiva and Ishvara. And the Jiva and Ishvara may be mentioned by any word. In each Mahavakya, Jiva and Ishvara are mentioned by different words. For example, if you take the Mahavakya Aham Brahmasmi, Jiva is mentioned by what word? Aham. And Brahman is Brahma. Directly Brahma is mentioned. If you take the Mahavakya Prajnanam Brahma, Jiva is mentioned as Prajnanam and Brahma is mentioned as Brahma. So like that there are many Mahavakyas. Tattvamasi, Jiva is mentioned as Tvam and Ishvara, Brahman is mentioned as Tat. So Tattvamasi Adi Mahavakya. There are many Mahavakyas. In every Upanishad, you will find at least one Mahavakya. We have to closely analyze a statement. then we can make out, is it Mahavakya? Whether it is a Mahavakya or not, we can figure out on analyzing the statement. If the statement is equating you with the Brahman, then it is Mahavakya. So, Tattvamasi Adi Mahavakya, they reveal the oneness between Jiva and Ishvara, Jivatma and Paramatma. But when you see the Mahavakya does not reveal the Jiva Brahma Aikya directly. Because the direct meaning of Tatpada or Tvampada in Tattvamasi Mahavakya, there are two words, Tat and Tvam. We are concerned about only these two words. Asi, we need not be worried about, because Asi is just equal to. So, right hand side and left hand side, Tat and Tvam. It is an equation. If you look at the direct meaning, there is a contradiction. Tat can never be equal to Tvam if you look at the direct meaning. Because what is the direct meaning of Tvam? It is Jiva, an individual with the five koshas, with all the upadhis, with all its limitations. The Jiva is the direct meaning of Tvam. And what is the direct meaning of Tat? It is Ishvara with all his glory, with all his knowledge, with all his power. The Ishvara is the direct meaning of Tat. Therefore, if you look into the direct meaning of Jiva, of Tvam and Tat, the Mahavakya does not make any sense. The equation does not make any sense. It is like equating two objects that are absolutely different in nature. Khadyota bhanvoriva rajabhrityayoh kupamburashyoh paramanumirvoh. Viveka Chudamani describes the apparent difference between Jiva and Ishvara. One is like Khadyota, a firefly. At night, a firefly, when it opens its wing, it has some light. It is like a small aeroplane. Firefly, Jugunu. And Bhanu, Surya, sun. So, firefly also is light, has light. Sun also has light. Are they equal? They cannot be equated. So, equating Jiva with Ishvara is like equating a firefly with the sun, because Jiva is Alpajna, very limited knowledge, whereas Ishvara is Sarvajna, all knowledge. Rajabhrityayoho, it is like equating a king with his servant. Raja and Bhritya. Raja is the king and his servant, whose name even the king doesn't even know his name. An ordinary servant. Both are living in the palace, both are there in the palace. Even the servant, when he goes somewhere, he says, I work in the palace. Like there is a peon working in South Block. Even Prime Minister, his office is in South Block. A peon also is there in South Block to move the files here and there. You ask the peon, where are you working? I work in the South Block, in Prime Minister's office. So just because he is there in South Block, he is not the Prime Minister. You cannot equate him with Prime Minister. So, Ishvara is Niyanta. He is the ruler. Like the Prime Minister is the ruler of the country. Ishvara is the ruler of the whole universe. And this Jiva is a Niyamya. Jiva is under the control of everyone. One is Niyanta, another is Niyamya. Ruler and ruled. Even the movement of his own hands is not in his hands. We cannot move our hand in all directions. Ishvara has determined in what degrees of freedom our hand should have, what degrees of freedom our finger should have. Everything is decided by Ishvara. We say it is our hands, but how far is it yours? If it's your hands, you should be able to move your hand in all directions with all degrees of freedom. See, only this much. I am not able to bend it further, backward. So, Rajabhrityayoho, Kupamburashyoho. One is like a kupa, a well, small water body with limited water. Another is Amburashi, ocean. How can you equate well to ocean? Means our happiness is limited. Ishvara has all happiness. Paramanu Mervo. Paramanu, a small atom, and Meru, a huge mountain. One is small, limited, another is Mahat, great, infinite, Ishvara. How can you equate these two? Parichinna, aparichinna. One is finite, another is infinite. Therefore, if you try to equate the direct meanings, the Mahavakya becomes meaningless. Therefore, we cannot take the direct meanings of Tvampada and Tatpada. In Sanskrit, the direct meaning of any word is called Vachyartha. So now I have to introduce some terminologies. Some terminologies have to be introduced. Otherwise, it is difficult to understand a concept. Please listen attentively. This is not a katha. Katha is different. In katha, you don't have to introduce terminologies. This is not katha. This is vichara. This is inquiry. I keep telling, I am not a kathakar. That is why I don't know how to speak like kathakars. The kathakars know how to speak and entertain. Everything they know. I have not learnt all those things. So this is vichara, enquiry. So enquiry is not entertaining. That is why, as long as there is no chitta shuddhi, enquiry seems boring, vichara seems boring. That is why in a Vedanta session, you won't find a crowd. Very few people are interested. Only when you have chitta shuddhi, you are attracted to this. If there is no chitta shuddhi, Vedanta does not appeal. For them, katha appeals. Bhagavata katha, Rama katha, Krishna katha, Shiva katha. Some people do Shiva katha also. So katha is appealing. So through katha they have to get chitta shuddhi. So katha brings them to some level of chitta shuddhi. Shanvatam swakatham Krishnaha punyashavana kirtanaha hridyantastho hyabhadrani vidhunoti suhrit satam. When they listen to katha, it gives chitta shuddhi. But that is not my department. There are other people for that. So then, when there is chitta shuddhi, they will come here. Here means to Vedanta. Chitta shuddhi may happen in one janma or two janmas, aneka janma samsiddha. After many janmas, sometimes it may take 10 janmas, 20 janmas. So it's a very long drawn process. And all that you do in one janma is carried forward for another janma also. It is not wasted. It is carried forward. It's not like the material wealth that you build. If you build material wealth, it is not carried forward. All the money you accumulate, it will remain here only. All the real estate that you accumulate, it will remain here only. But the chitta shuddhi, the good karmas, good sanskaras, everything is carried forward. Even this session of Vedanta, some shastra falls into your ears, whether you understand it or not. And this samskara will be there. And it will be carried to the next janma also. That is why the time that you invest, the effort that you invest in the spiritual pursuit, it may be Vedanta, it may be Bhagavata, it may be Puja, it may be Ganga Snana, it may be Stotra Patha, Vishnu Sahasranama Patha. Everything brings about something. So nothing is a waste. 8 days of stay here is not waste. Kashyam Vasaha, staying in Kashi. Satam Sangaha, association with the Mahatmas, Shravana from Mahatmas. Gangam Shiva Pujanam, Ganga Snana and Shiva Puja. Nothing is a waste. So now let's go through the vichara. So a word can have two meanings. It is observable in our day-to-day transaction also. This is not something esoteric. It's observable in our day-to-day transactions. A word has more than one type of meanings. One is called Vachyartha. Vachyartha is the direct meaning. What is direct meaning? When you hear the word, what occurs in your mind first? It is the direct meaning. For example, Ganga. When you hear the word Ganga, what occurs in your mind first? The river. By the way, what is called Ganga? What is Ganga? Yeah. In the Shastra, even Ganga has a definition. Bhagiratha Rathakhata Vachinna Jalapravaha Ganga. Ganga is the stream of water which flows through the the grove, the passage caused by the chariot of Bhagiratha. If you look into the story of Gangavatarana, how Ganga descended on the earth. So when Ganga was descending, Bhagiratha brought Ganga to this earth. There is the story of Bhagiratha's tapasya. And then Bhagiratha made, otherwise Ganga was in the Swarga, Swarnadi. It was in heaven. It was not there on this earth. Bhagiratha did tapasya and made Ganga flow down on the earth. And then he had to make way for Ganga. Then he moved his chariot, and the chariot made the space, the grove, the canal. So the water which passes through the canal, created by the chariot of Bhagiratha, it is called Ganga. So when you hear the word Ganga, first what occurs in your mind? The river. So the river is the Vachyartha, the direct meaning. The straightforward meaning. But then sometimes in some usages, if you take the direct meaning, it won't fit in the statement. For example, the ashram is on Ganga. Ashram is on Ganga. Gangayam ashramaha. If you take the direct meaning of the word Ganga, it does not fit. Therefore, you have to take another meaning, a meaning which is closely related to the direct meaning. The word Ganga stands for the bank of Ganga. The word Ganga stands for the bank of Ganga. So Gangayam ashramaha. The ashram is on Ganga. Means the ashram is on the bank of Ganga. So here the word Ganga does not really stand for Ganga itself. Instead, it stands for the bank of Ganga. Therefore, bank of Ganga, the Ganga Tira, it is another meaning of the word Ganga. But this is not the direct meaning. Such meanings are called Lakshyartha, indirect meaning. Lakshyartha. Direct meaning is called Vachyartha. Indirect meaning is called Lakshyartha. is called implied meaning or target meaning, lakshyartha. Now, the process of arriving at the lakshyartha of a word is called lakshana. Lakshana. The process of arriving at the lakshyartha of a word is called lakshana. I have introduced three words. One is vachyartha, direct meaning. Another is lakshyartha, implied meaning or indirect meaning. And lakshana, the process of arriving at the lakshyartha. We will continue in the next session. If I say everything together, it will be too much. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.